Hello. Okay, it's time for goat stuff. We should be all set up. I gotta turn top chat into live chat. Did you get a notification?
I did. Me too.
Okay, I have no one right now in the chat.
Yes.
I have 5 people watching.
Okay. Rochelle Schulte.
12.
C.J. Sretsky, Tom Toomey, Stanley S., Chad Smith, Larry Hughes.
Hi. So, some shop projects that have been picked up, finished, I should say. Red Hefteron is headed out. I took the liberty of adding some chrome to some red to make the teeth pop a little bit. And I got him as shiny as I wanted.
Cobwebs. Your invoice is set and your hood is ready.
Yeah, we actually went ahead and made the hood.
Well, it's already there.
And this Shikumo is ready to go also.
Why don't we show Cobwebs his hood?
We will. Where is his hood? Okay.
Cobwebs, the length of your hood, sir.
All right.
Kim, hope your ankle feels better.
So yeah, chat's moving pretty quick there. Oh yeah, so this is your hood length. This is pretty massive. I'll throw it on if you wish. But yeah, that's a good hood length right there.
I said, yeah, that's great.
It's enough to flip over the shoulder. Yeah. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very nice. Okay, so goat stuff. We've got to do some goat things. So the horns from yesterday. I went ahead and we did the liquid nails on, and they are ready for paint. Yes. So that just gives them some juice.
Will hot glue work to make a burlap jacket for a static prop?
Yes. Unless you live in Arizona or Texas, but get the real hot glue. Don't use cool melt hot glue. If it burns your fingers less than you're comfortable with, then it's no good. Because our sun will just make it fall apart. I used to use hot glue on holding some things together for my monster museum, but when it sits there in the summer and it gets up to be 110, 115 in Texas, anything that you hold on with hot glue will just fall off. Now, you might see me using hot glue on things now, but normally I'm using a specialized hot glue in a very hot glue gun. So just be aware of that. So you might see me using hot glue, but I'm using an industrial hot glue that's meant for that.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, Ray Hawkins. Any comments or questions, wife?
Lots of hellos.
Well, hello.
Evenings. We have 40 people watching.
Hello, 40 people.
Ezekiel says, present, sir.
Hooray! You are not late. They're not intended for there to be a fee for being late, but we did set a precedent, is all I'm saying.
Hello from Scotland.
Hello, Scotland. Which Scotland is that?
Matt,
Matt
is
M.
that a new Scotland?
That's not a normal Scotland. Well, hello. So today,
Rodney Pope says he's late but present.
I got a bunch of little bells. These are going to go on the horns of the Yule goat. My intent today is to get some fur on the Yule goat and to get some fur on the ewe goat and get the horns painted and locked in. I want to go with that same brown color, but I want to add a little bit of black to it. So I want these horns to be darker. So I'm going to lace these horns with red ribbon.
Matt M says Abnormal Scotland is the best one.
Yeah.
Plastic Ninja says, I hope you liked my birthday drawing. I swallowed a lot of pride for that.
I did. I'm glad that you finally saw the light and realized that the Wolfman could completely take King Ghidra in a fair contest, one-on-one.
Skin and Bone says, I really love the tutorial on how to make a ghost mask. It turned out amazing.
Hey, thanks.
Watching you work has gotten me in the mood to work on my projects too, so thanks for the motivation. This is HBK Stars.
Every time I see somebody screwing something up, I want to get in there and do it for them too.
Alan,
Thanks.
did I miss the flocking then, did you?
No, we may flock today. We may have Flockapalooza tomorrow. It all depends. My first goal is to get these horns airbrushed.
I love the contest you made, I think, 7 years ago. Fursuit and so and the shop was fun.
Hey, thanks.
Hi, Leslie.
Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
Wait, our Leslie?
Hi, Leslie.
Hello, Leslie.
I still don't buy your argument, but it's the thought that counts, right? It's this plastic.
It really is the thought that counts, and I appreciate you going that extra mile for me. Okay, so my hat was a birthday gift from Stacy and family,
Right.
and it is a Bigfoot hat. Can they see my hat?
Yes.
It says "Gone Squatching." Yes. Ta-da! I like it. It is bright orange, which is great because I am known for my subtlety in everything that I wear and how I present myself. It is so awkward and weird to just try and stand with the goat at this table because the horns are like all pervasive.
Leslie says it's a fabulous hat, and Steve loves the hat also. This one is a mighty looking set of horns. Gray says, I'm so happy he likes it.
I do. Trying to find my Havana Brown.
Cobwebs, I sent it to the email address that I have used with your other invoices. So it's not the email address that we were talking on today, it's the one that you have associated with PayPal. So I hope that's correct, just following our past orders for consistency, and because it's the email that's associated with your PayPal. So hopefully that is correct. And I get an email with that.
I'm mixing a little Havana Brown ink with a little bit of black ink, and then I'll put a little bit of...
Do you keep your latex paint containers capped to keep the paint from drying out? I never see you remove any caps, or does the latex create seal?
So here's what I have to worry about. Here are the problems in my life. I still have a problem with it. So I'm kind of terrible at giving advice because things that work for me may not work for you. If it dries the tip, it makes its own little cap. Pop the cap out, and it works. So I don't find it super necessary to cap it. I could. They have these little red caps, but that is how I run them. And sometimes I got to do a little stabby in the hole. But most of the time, they're good to go.
Susie Gardner says, awesome hat.
That's my
Gregory Huntington says below. Talk to me. I got 5 gallons. Steve Warehouse casting latex for $119. I'm stoked.
That's a bargain. That's a good deal.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, that's your mom?
Yes, these are
Oh.
So I just put Havana Brown, a bit of black, and now some alcohol in here because it's alcohol-based dye.
Ezekiel says a super cotton ball and slide at the top that works awesome for sealing paintballs.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a very good idea. I have a lot of Q-tips. Maybe I could do the stabby with a Q-tip.
Why didn't you put the sticky tape around the horns like you did Krampus, says Mike Murphy.
I just haven't yet. I'm going to. I want to paint them yet. I will.
Sometimes you gotta do a bit of stabby in the hole. Allen 2026 plastic.
Sometimes you do have to do a bit of stabby in the hole.
Ezekiel says Q-tips, sorry, cotton buds in Australia.
Okay, I got you. I think I knew what you meant. I got there. I'm picking up and putting down.
Tony Tooney says, sorry, it's not Steve, SFX warehouse with an autocorrect. That was his name.
You guys were furiously calling some guy named Steve. You now know that that's incorrect.
Houdini the Great says hello.
Hello, Houdini the Great.
Tony Tooney says, I'm going to do a pool of my Ralph mask guaranteed.
Oh.
Ezekiel, those horns are spectacular. Oh, and thanks for the sheet ghost. Seriously cool tutorial. My kids are going to go bananas for that.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Thomas R. When I paint signs, I never open the cans. I popped a hole in the top with an old Phillips head screwdriver and used a bolt as a cap. Never dried out. Tommy Tooney says it's Frankenstein. His bullet, not Ralph.
Okay.
Ian Cash, air dry polyfoam, best adhesive. What is the best adhesive?
Air dried polyfoam. You mean AB foam? Exposed to the elements so it has a shine skin on it. I would probably say contact cement for that situation.
RG says, so you had dreams about the goat.
Oh, you know what? I actually dream about my work all the time. I dream about making things, and sometimes I've legitimately had dreams where in my dream I'm showing people the new stuff that I made, and I can do what is called lucid dreaming, where I can kind of control it, which means that I don't sleep all the way a lot of the time. But anyway, I can normally control it. So I have this prop one time that I made for Scarborough Fair where I had a dream that I had a cart with a dead body on it. He was all wrapped up. And I had a pedal that I could hit, and he sat up when I hit this pedal, and I could hit him on the head and put him back down. And in the dream, I'm like, well, that's really cool. How did I do that? So in my dream, I got down, I looked underneath, and it was just a gate latch, and the body was, hinged and had a bungee pulling it closed, but I undid the gate latch and it went up. So from the dream, I went and actually built the thing, which was fun. Yeah. What was the question? Goats. Yep.
Ian Cash was air dry clay foam is what he was asking.
Oh, okay. More air dry clay foam. Or treat it like EVA foam and contact cement. Treat it like EVA foam and contact cement. Or you can just wet it a little bit, and more of that clay will help it stick together.
Tommy Tooney says, I really like these horns. The size, the diameter looks awesome.
Thanks. I did make a pattern.
Houdini the Great says, how does airbrushing look better than normal paintbrush?
Well, that is a preference if you think it looks better, but what it does is I'm not going to have any brush marks. I won't have any brush marks at all of where, you know, my brush started and stopped. And that's what it's about for me and why I normally prefer to airbrush. But see how these are a little darker than the last ones that I did? I added a little bit of black in there and I thinned it down a little. So I'm happy with that.
Ezekiel says, I've had so many dreams lately where I go to bed with a problem and I dream the solution.
Yeah, that's, I do that a lot. My
Did you
brain-
dream the Willy Bear head?
I did. There's several masks and things that I've made that I've done. I've seen it in a dream, and I kind of figured it out and made a mental catalog of, okay, I'll do that next.
I love the color on the thorns, that brown color you use all the time.
This is a little darker than normal, but I love it too.
Larry Hughes says he figures you would be able to defeat Freddy Krueger.
That's fair.
Is that Havana Brown?
This is Havana Brown with some black in it. Ooh, no.
Plastic Ninja says lucid dreaming is all fun and games until you start having the hallucinations you're supposed to have while sleeping while you're awake.
You know what I do for a living? Step 3, profit. Yeah, those are some horns.
Lucid dreaming is a trip, says Harvey. Rodney Cope says, are these the EVA foam horns you were cutting out yesterday?
Yep.
Cat
Cut it.
Swift. I've not heard the term lucid dreaming. I do that too. Work through a project in my sort of sleep, and then can go on it the next day, or work on it the next day.
Yes. Also, I find it very helpful when I wake up. I'll go ahead and close my eyes again, not go back to sleep, but think about all the things I have to do and the challenges I'm going to have, and I just work through them, and I find that my brain is very malleable and I'm open to new ideas. And I take about 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 30, and just work through that kind of stuff. And then when I get up and I can go do it, then I can do it better. I already did it once, but I'll do it a second time.
Horns look really great. I never get plot plans in my dreams, says Cobwebs.
Not yet.
Commissar says, most people would think your dreams were nightmares till they see the game image.
Yeah. And you know what? And I have nightmares that really aren't that bad. I have funny and frustrating nightmares. I remember one where I'm in a car and I'm driving, I'm trying to get somewhere, and it's like a city, and there's a stoplight at every single block that I have to stop at, and every time there's a cop behind me who would pull me over if I ran the light, and every time someone comes up to the car window and tries to carjack me. But it's not scary. It's like, what are you doing? I'm in a hurry. And I grab their gun, I throw it in the back seat, and I'm going, and then the back seat is full of guns, and I'm annoyed, and the cop might pull me over. He doesn't stop the guys who are trying to carjack me, but yeah. And it's not scary at all. It was inconvenient.
Rose says hello. Nightmare. Plastic Ninja says my nightmares are always just a little bit cheap.
Yeah, it's very rare that I have scary dreams. And I guess I just choose not to remember them when I do.
Harvey says carjacking is scary in real life.
Yeah. I've had a lot of folks knock on my window and stuff. I was sleeping at a rest stop once while I was driving from Florida to Maryland. I had someone break my car window, not knowing I was in the seat sleeping. Scared the heck out of them. So this fur I don't like it. It's too short. I'm just going to use it for patterning purposes. So we're gonna make a pattern for this mask.
I would really like to know if you've had any nightmares of having to share tasty cakes.
Too soon! Too soon!
Cobweb says, I always seem to be fighting people.
Those are fun. Unless you don't think that's fun. I'll try and go fairly tight on this because I don't want to lose the goatiness of it. I'm going to measure this exactly as much as you think I would.
Just to say.
Saying hello to Joanne Crowley.
Hello, Joanne Crowley.
Commissar says Freud would have a blast with your dreams. Funny guy says hello. Plastic Ninja says breaking into a car with someone in it sounds like a great way to get shot.
Yeah.
Cobweb says I have a hickory axe handle in my car. I'm good to go. What is Stacy working on off camera?
A drink.
Yeah, she's working on a beverage. She has worked very hard today, knocking things out, and now she's kind of chilling.
Supervising.
Now, I may convince her to sew or cut out some of this goat fur in the future.
I can do that.
Goats with the fur,
Patrick Redding says hello, as does Kim.
the whole club is.
But this is Lisa Arndt's goat, yeah.
Yeah,
She said it's got a great profile. She's not wrong.
yeah. And this, I'm happy with them goats. Yo. Boy.
Also, if you can't tell which horn that Alan did and which one that I did, I'm going to call that a super big win.
Where you get your fur?
I don't even know if I can. I buy my fur from a place called Monterey Mills. Monterey Mills. It is the least expensive place that I can think of to get fur that I know of. It's like $11.50 a yard, but you have to buy a 16-yard roll. So it may not be the best solution for everyone.
Third Degree says, no wonder she was so quiet. I'm sure she's earned that refreshing beverage.
She has.
Get spoiled.
I'm not going to come in here and find that. Bob O'Brien says, it's the place to buy if you are not having your own manufacturer.
Yes.
Well, and if you have time and buying it by the roll isn't prohibitively expensive for you, it's worth it to buy it by the roll and then sell it locally by the yard. You know, use what you need and then part the rest of it out.
Yeah, if I had like a Krampus parade or something that I was trying to outfit, I most certainly would.
Thin Goodwolf says, I really like your Krampus devil style mask you said you made 8 or 9 years ago in your other video.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Colehart.
So I'm just tracing where I think this fur should go. This will be the back piece of it. I have a habit of making just too big of a mane on my masks. And I think I can maybe get it a little bit cooler if I can get it a little tighter. And so this mask, I want the fur to kind of, I'm gonna follow this line here, the seam line, with the back piece. And then the front piece, I want this to come in here, and then probably all the way under here. And that is where, you know what, I'll go back to this line on this mask in order to do the fur drape. And I'll glue fur in here for these two pieces, because this fur has to go down, so there's no way to get the same fur direction all over the place the way I want it. And then we flock it to blend it in. And I might even do a layer or two of long hair, black long hair, before I do the flocking, just so there's some extra curl and length to the hair on the face.
How do you glue the fur to the mouse?
Contact cement. I'm making a hood out of several pieces, and then we will contact cement the hood to the mask.
Double plus, thank you, Scott Colhart, for bumping my haunted headdress.
I think that is where I want to be. And I am not worried right now about fur direction, because again, all I'm doing with it, this is just scrap that I'm testing my pattern on. And I have a gusset over here that has to go together, and that's going to help me get the blend, around the fur, around the horn. So that will change with horns. So I have a 4-horned goat coming up, and the first 2 horns are similar to this, but shorter. And then the other 2, well, the top ones go up and really fold down. It's complicated. And I'll be honest, I'm a little intimidated by those horns. I want to start on them tonight.
Finn Goodwolf says, why aren't the hoods on sale for your website? He says,
Listen,
just kidding.
it is not right to harass our webmaster.
Funny Guy says, I have
They
a
work
question.
very hard.
The horns on the goat are big. Are they heavy too?
Not at all. No. No. They're EVA foam, and they're thin, so it's not even like they're chunky EVA foam. And the coating on them is liquid nails, but it's a real thin coating of liquid nails. So I would say no.
Are you making EVA ears?
Yes, I'm making EVA ears. I'll make the ears tonight.
Now, since this is such a close-fitting mask, like around the neck,
Mhm.
do you need to accommodate for stretch in the fur, or does it have some stretch already?
The fur won't be, I'm not going to glue it down in the back per se.
Yeah.
I'm going to glue it down all up in here, and then I'll probably cut a little U-shape in the mask and glue in some Velcro
Nice.
so that that can tighten, because you have those horns on your head. I don't want them wobble. So having Velcro across the back of the neck will be, you can secure it a little better.
Are we going to get to watch the 4-horned goat build?
Yeah. Hence Goat Week, yo.
Those horns are pretty epic. So
It turned out nice.
I have gotten the 3-eyed goat, the extra Satan goat, to this level already. So I'm catching this one up to it, and the fur pattern I do will work for all of them. So I'm kind of getting them all up, and I did 2 sets of horns, different goat horns, and now I feel ready to tackle that 3rd set of horns. I'm just going to do the fur first, and then I can knock out that other set of horns.
I suppose a flap of elastic would give you a headache.
Elastic is more comfortable than Velcro, but I'm not putting it on the head. And in all honesty, it doesn't need it. I mean, there's a good latex base that these horns are attached to, so I don't need any kind of a rigging inside. I just want to make sure it's well attached to the base of the skull. I want some Velcro here just to hold that together a little tighter. Because if it's latex, you might have some wobble, and I don't like wobble in my horns.
Could also pad out the inside for a more secure fit.
Yes, but if the pad is too squishy, you get more wobble. Okay, so this is my back piece. And now I'm going to test my back piece on.
Cobweb says, or you could foam fill it.
Not if a human head is in there. That makes it harder.
I guess you could also put it on a stick.
Chad says we use wobbles, not horns. Carrying on says, do you airbrush or do you normal brushing for the paint on your masks?
Yes. I do both. The great swordsman Lyoto Musashi said, don't die with a sword in your sheath. So if there's a tool in my toolbox, I would like to use it. I bring my masks almost all the way to finish with a paintbrush. And then I airbrush shading and some details like veins and such.
Cobweb says we use wobble but then don't fall down. And Chad Smith says that too. I'm going to bring the camera up just a little closer.
Okay.
So you can see what you're doing.
No, I'm happy with that. See how this piece here folds together in order to cover that, and this comes down here pretty much along that seam line like I was saying. And that's going to be a nice, that'll be a nice length. If there's too much down here, then it gets hard to turn your head and it traps a lot of heat. It's really nice if you can move your head a certain way and get a whiff of cool air into your flap. I love cool air on my flap. It's true.
Dozier 88 SR says hello.
Hello,
Peter
Dozier
says
88
it's
SR.
very cool. John C says, will the nose or muzzle of the goat be flocked?
Yes, the muzzle will be flocked. We're gonna do this hair, and I'm gonna do some hair. I'm gonna make probably 2 or 3 of these today, and then I might do some flocking.
Do you ever do vents and masks?
Yes, I vent the heck. If there's a chance, if there's a chance, I'll put a hole in it, because if people won't see it, then it needs to be really well vented. Sometimes when you're selling a mask to someone, they don't want to see a bunch of holes in it. But if I'm using it for our show, Dark Hour, there's way more vent holes than normal. Just because people don't like to see that. Even though I know it's a benefit, you know, some people when they're buying don't quite understand ventilation.
Rodney Pope says, I'm really sorry for repeating this question. Are these the EDA foam horns you were cutting recently?
Yes.
Kirk Matthias says hello. Brandon D says, good evening, Harry Goat and Capricorn Chew.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take the rest of my fur
95 people are watching.
and try and do the front.
95 people.
I got to move the camera back a little bit. It's a constant struggle. The camera up.
It's going to be the best goat mask I've ever seen with fur applied. It's coming along great.
Hey, thanks. That's a very nice thing to say. Who said that?
Finn Goodwin.
Thanks, Finn. Are you a goat mask connoisseur?
Cobweb says those would be epic on a Cronus. Chad Smith, if you had to make fur look slimy, what would you use? If it is supposed to fall out of a bucket of
Okay, so I would just put the fur in slime. Can you do that?
Don't forget to copy your pattern before you glue it down.
It's hard to beat methyl cellulose. This is my pattern. I'm not going to glue this down. I'm not using this for anything else. I will run it to a paper pattern later, but for now, I want to do it in fur because I want to see how it will drape.
Will you have a goatee hanging off the bottom?
Yes.
Robert White system though.
Hello! So, this type of putting fabric on something is called draping. And one of the reasons why it's important when you're sculpting to get things even and proportional is that I'm just going to drape this, I'm going to fold this over, and I'm only going to do half of this because I know all I have to do then is unfold it and the other half will fit. If it's really asymmetrical, then it's not going to fit, it's not going to look good. So that's why I'm kind of a stickler when I'm sculpting to make sure it's nice and even. And I have a bunch of these T-pins, and that's why I'm just pinning this guy together. Right there in the half. And I want this area covered, so I need to go up a little bit.
Scott says, goat horn color looks great.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you, Rob O'Brien, for your order. You just ordered a resin head form and a wooden sculpting headstand.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, now see, now I'm lining this mark here. That's right.
Son K says hello.
Hello, what's up?
Promise not to put you in jail, son. Still don't know why I did
With malice in your heart, you did that.
that. Third Degree says, see you based a full murder hornet, a full murder jacket in the background. Will that be the first one you have painted?
I hope. I'll get to it eventually. I have a list of things that I want to do, but what is important and first is what you guys want and need. So this is half of the front, and it's pretty, you know, it's a nice small piece. I also need to note fur direction on here so that I never cut this with the fur going the wrong way. Can you imagine if all this fur was going sideways? You know, you have to keep that fur direction in mind. And I could replicate this by eye, but I'm not that good.
Chad says, what should I use for slime? You said a montocellulose or something similar. I don't know what that is.
Methyl cellulose. What is your slime going to be used over many, many nights? Is it once for a film? Or is it for a haunted house? What's happening with your slime?
Cobweb says, we want Monroe.
Well, this is Goat Week. Maybe next Wednesday is Mumra night. We'll see.
Kurt Matthias says, can I get a Krampus with those horns?
Sure.
Carrying on says, now will the fold you sculpted into the neck show up with the fur?
No, because the fold was only to do half and half. And if you're going to make anything, and you haven't made a bunch of stuff, make it out of fur because fur is the most forgiving material known to man. Fur will hide all of your creating sins. There's a reason why a lot of animatronics are fur covered. It's because those joints are wide open and the fur is just bridging that gap and you can't see them because...
Cobweb says yes, he's excited about his mum rock. Chad Smith says that the slime is being used for film.
Oh, then yeah, get yourself some methyl cellulose. Methyl cellulose. It is a granular powder and you mix it with warm water and it is the slimy snot that you see in almost every horror movie. Methyl cellulose. There's also FX houses will sell a material called Ultra Slime, or you can go the cheaper route and get yourself some 20 Mule Team Borax from Walmart and some Elmer's Clear School Glue and mix that together and that makes a lovely slime. I have a video on it called Ice Gore Snot. Ice Gore Snot because that also makes a lovely slime. Methyl cellulose is the pro version. The Ice Gore Snot of Elmer's Glue and Borax, the children's slime craze. Just mix it thinner.
Alan, is there any pieces in your making history you've gotten attached to or wished you still had?
No, because I can make it again and better. No.
Scott Creighton says, Cobwebs, next week, pick a number. Number 1, bum rock. Number 2, bum rock. Number 3, bum rock. John C. says, when the sarcophagus opens next Wednesday night, I'll be there.
The ever-living.
Brandon D. says, Medusa. John C. says, add methyl cellulose to fake blood recipes.
You can, yes. Comes in if you want gore.
Thank you, Scott Coulthard.
Copies fast.
God, he's good.
You find methyl cellulose.
No,
Yeah, he found the
ice
ice
core
core snot.
Oh, look at that.
Joanne says, that snot video is good.
Hey,
Cobweb
thanks.
says, Joanne, you're killing me. Never saw Thundercats. He's the main villain.
He is the main villain. Okay, so this is my front piece, and this is my back piece. We're going to go ahead and we're going to convince Stacy to break out the sewing machine.
She just
And,
That's awesome.
We got
Well, first we gotta cut that onto real
right,
fur.
I'm going to go get the black fur.
Well, I'll give it a sheet.
Today wants to know, is it a goat mullet?
Well, no, because I'm going to patch in that other piece with a smaller, because I don't know how I want to handle that yet.
Oh, pin shot.
I have my two pieces. This is my back and my front. And I feel pretty good about that. I have made quite a few go-ats in my life.
Go ahead.
Well, at least hair pieces. Go-at hair pieces. Yeah.
At what stage do you normally make a paper pattern?
Once I know my fur pattern works. So I'm going to use this pattern. This is basically my muslin, is what this is. And we're going to make one out of fur, and I'm going to put it on this goat. If it fits and it does well, then I make a pattern out of this. And each stage along the way, I get to make little corrections. Because this isn't perfectly even. You know, you saw how much by eye I did it. There's what we have to do. And that table over there looks way better for cutting out this fur than my table does.
Guys, I cleaned it off and everything.
My table is high maintenance.
Lisa says, could I buy a yarn of the fur so I could make tufts on the wrists and ankles to match my mats?
I'm going to generate a lot of scrap. Why don't I just throw some scrap in there because it's going to be decent sized pieces. I'll make sure you have enough. Don't sweat buying it.
First,
Hi, Hugo.
Yes. And he likes her.
Where's his boy? See?
under the tripod.
Uh-huh.
The dog has empressed.
Our beauty says, I'm worried that font season will be canceled.
Me too, Our Beauty.
Carrying on
So
says, I
savvy.
love her pumpkin shirt.
This is my Carl shirt. Last year, after MHC, Rob suggested that we all go as Carl for for the MHC costume. And Haunt Shirts was clearing out these guys, so I got me one and I got Tony one. So I too can be that pumpkin color. Is it? Rain.
1980 says, that roll is like $500 at Hobby Lobby.
Yes,
Yes.
yes it is. Because this very fur is like 30 bucks a yard. And this roll started at 16 yards. Maybe it's 26.
I didn't know it was expensive for you.
No, yeah, I do have more expensive fur. But, you know, I like to make stuff.
I like to make cool stuff.
Tommy Toomey says they better cancel Christmas and Easter as well. Haunt season is the reason for life.
Well,
Well,
Easter was definitely canceled.
now we don't, yeah, Easter was already canceled. We don't want to wish hate on others just because we are sad.
Also, Halloween, like Christmas. It's in
They're
March.
not, understand, if it gets canceled, it's not because they're mad at us. It's not vengeance. They're trying to keep people safe. And they believe, whether you believe it or not, they believe that's the best way to do it. And have a hard time being mad at somebody who's doing something for good reason. Even if what they believe is wrong.
In case that was cracking up.
102 people are watching.
Thank you, 102 people.
Bill
Yeah.
Batchelor says it's time for a dance.
As long as they're nice. Hope that's in Canada.
Oh, it
That's all
is.
they get.
It's definitely on camera.
Scott Creighton says they just canceled fall sports season for NCAA Division II sports. NCAA.
What sport is that for your sports challenged friends? With an airbrush, I pick a base color and then I airbrush my light tones and my dark tones in it. Fur airbrush is great.
Just Rudy, thanks a lot, Alan, for the foundation info. I got lucky, and it was just those 2 spots. I filled them, but still do.
Awesome. And one of my weirder things today, he sent me a mouse question. He's like, hey, I normally ask you mouse stuff, mask stuff, but I got this issue.
Halloween is the one time everyone voluntarily wears masks.
Yeah.
RB says, I think Christmas should be canceled since I found Christmas crap at stores in June.
Oh, of course. You know, you always do. And you know what, though? I love it. I went there for Christmas crap today. How do you think I got these sleigh bells that I got over here that are going to go on this goat mask? I go all the time for I-forms. I don't mind that at all.
Cobweb says, I'm still having Halloween, even in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Justin Rudy says, I'm going to start paying you for all the insight if this keeps up.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
RB says, how about a little song to go with the dance?
I like to move it. I like to move it. That's all I got, kids.
Do you repurpose scrap fur cuts or throw them away?
It breaks some. I try to throw them away, and then Stacy takes them home. I repurpose some of it, but mostly, you underestimate the amount of fur scraps that I generate in a season. I generate lots of fur scraps. So I do keep bigger pieces, but normally it ends up to where I have to throw a lot of it away. There was a young lady who I would just bring, thank you, a big bag of fur scraps to every MHC, and she would pay me like $10 for this big bag of fur scraps.
Rachel Powell says the state-sponsored marching band competition had been canceled here in Indiana. It was just announced today. Misty Jezereski says, I'm making plans for how I'm decorating the yard for Halloween, trick-or-treaters or not.
Yeah, you know what? And set up your yard so it's a nice drive-by, because that may be all these kids get. Set it up so it's a nice drive-by and someone can throw candy into their open window. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Set a bucket out at the road.
You could beat them in the head. Candy.
Ezekiel says, you mean to say Halloween is not every day?
Well, for some folks it ain't.
That's not the twist, that's not the dash, that's just Alan shaking his head. Harvey says, you're calling me kid and you're not that much older than me.
Well, you know what? Get off my lawn.
Paul Bennett says, probably different this year. Wear a mask, go through the hot maze, quickly spray Lysol, but have to be careful with all plugs. Have to use child safety and cover plug holes. I understand you.
Yes, don't kill children.
Hello, Leanne Newhouse. She says, I'm already molded some things like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
Probably
Can they
says,
see what I'm doing at all? Or it's just my butt? Pretty much just my butt.
Cobweb says, I'm 4'7". I yell at squirrels.
Yeah.
In fairness, that squirrel's gotta come. Squirrels.
Joanne Crowley calling you all youngsters. Leanne, what are you molding? What are you making? Is this for a yard display? Line Cook says PVC pipe and hairspray make one nice candy gun.
Candy guns. Ooh, candy can in 2020.
Yes.
Alan non-goat question, how would you make a fake river outside?
Boy, well, that's an excellent question. If you could do a decent fog chiller and you could get it to run downhill, downhill is the important part. You should have a hill for this. You can do a river of fog. You could do it with just lighting, with fire and ice lights projected and screened off into a path.
$1980 says save some fur for Skeletor's undies.
If I had $1.
Cobbook says you can put a table out and give out cans of pop. Lisa says, I'm going to go all out on the inside of my house. I normally do the yard October 1st. May wait until it gets close to Halloween. It's been a weird year, increased vandalism and theft.
Yeah.
DM Cash says, I'm 56. I yell at everyone. Lisa says,
As you should.
plus the election a week after, going to be interesting.
Oh, boy.
Gerber,
Hashtag hero year.
Who are you voting for? Okay, then you go in the Mary Jane bucket. Who are you voting for? Okay, you get a Snickers.
This is my very scientific table stabilizer. Because when you use a heavy-duty sewing machine on a plastic table that's hinged in the middle, you get a lot of... So...
Stacey, it's your show for a few minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, using fabric and some boxes.
yeah. Okay. Or you could do cellophane.
So Lisa is laughing at us.
Yeah,
And
and
she's
she's
at cobwebs.
We're hilarious. Also, Cobwebs, I saw your shout out earlier. I, for real, like was picking usable pieces of fur out of the trash. Like, no, you don't understand. I need this. And I come home with bag. There's literally right now a bag of all of the scrap from the hoods in my van right now because some of them are pretty sizable pieces, and so I'm gonna make a pirate coat that is kind of a pied pirate coat.
For dark hours?
It might get used in dark hour, but oh yeah, it's hazards of the occupation. But yeah. Our board there.
Good sheds, someone say pirate shed.
Pirate. Since we're on pirates, the Stacy trivia is my husband and I got married on International Topic of Pirate Day, which is September 19th. We didn't have a pirate themed wedding because my mother was insistent. If you're still watching, Mom, sorry. She was insistent that it would absolutely not be proper to have a pirate themed wedding. What will the family say? So we had a fall themed wedding with pirate accoutrement. And let me tell you, eye patches as wedding favors is hands down the best thing we've ever done because they opened the bar before the ceremony.
Hooray!
And so by the time you got through the wedding, you know, the eye patches were helpful.
Oh.
But Tony's groom's cake had a pirate ship painted on it. And we had bridal part, like fancy eye patches. And we had a friend lose an eye to cancer, so we donated all of our remaining wedding eye patches to her, so now she has a bevy of fancy eye patches.
Missy did, well, Harris, did you do the pirate voice for your vows?
We actually did. Okay, so the dance instructor at Scarborough Fair for many years was our officiant. And he made his own, like, vestments and, like, mitre hat and everything, and came out and did the Mowage. Mowage is what brings us together today. And of course, you know, the crowd erupts in laughter. And my folks had never seen Princess Bride. And so my dad was horrified that everyone was laughing. Because he's like, what kind of terrible people are you friends with that they're laughing at this man's speech impediment? Like, you're friends with terrible people. And so then we got to go and show them the Princess Bride, which was also fun. Straight stitch, but tighten the tension and heavily back stitch. Well, so we keep this tension pretty tight anyways, on a regular basis, because we usually sew mostly upholstery fabric, so I keep it pretty tight in that regard. We backstitch heavy anyways, because all of the stuff that we make, we're constructing for haunt use. So the expectation is that you're going to be tearing it up in these costumes, so we definitely want to make sure that they are secure. So we only use some serious business upholstery thread, and we definitely always backstitch. But actually, using this machine because the backstitch on our previous machine was not wanting to do the thing.
Joanne Crowley says the first said the same when she wanted a Halloween themed wedding.
Yeah. But in fairness, everybody loved it. Everybody had a good time. I had an uncle who paid me the compliment, question mark, of telling me after the fact he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to recognize it as a wedding since he had been forewarned that there might be pirate shenanigans. But actually, it was very nice. I was like, oh, thank you, I think. The other thing with fur, since I didn't mention it the first time, when you're doing seams with fur, I have found it best to lay your sides together and then kind of stick your finger in between and push your fur inside. You can close it.
Yeah.
Zoom in. So we're lining it up, and then I'm just kind of running my finger inside, so you have a little fur sandwich there, so it's not sticking out there like it is here. And that way it keeps all or most of your fur on the side it ought to be on. It also makes it a lot easier to go through and comb it out afterwards, and it hides your seams entirely. Once they get done, they're gone. It's very difficult to go through and try and find them. And so as I go, I'm just kind of combing the fur into the inside. I'm not pinning anything because who has time for that? Plus it's fur, this particular kind of fur, not very slidey. It's not really going anywhere. So we're just going to tuck it in, lay it down flat, and sew it on through.
Rob O'Brien says, I used to own a company called Eccentric Weddings, and we did pirate themed weddings.
Nice.
Tommy Toomey says, straight stitch but tighten the tension and heavily backstitch.
Yes.
Is that a werewolf mask behind you?
Yes.
Yes. Tommy Toomey says, trim some of the fur and the seam line, you need to comb out the seams to hide them, shorten your stitch length also.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Rudy says, the mask in the background by the laptop, any way of seeing it closer, it looks really cool. I just can't see it very well when you get free time, of course.
Shikumo or
Don't mind me. Stop what I'm doing. One of these guys?
Mama said there be days like this, there be days like this. My mama said, mama said.
James Minnick says hello.
Hey, James.
so you can kind of see the with even some minor fluffing that seam just disappears.
Disappeared.
Done went bye-bye. And if I went at it with a comb, it'd be even better, but
Stacy, do you ever use a serger machine?
I do. I have a serger. We don't have one in the shop.
Because mine's a dark hour.
Yeah. There you go.
Stacy, I'm watching you casually talk while you sew. I suck so bad at sewing, I have to concentrate to keep a straight line.
Well, I've been doing it for a while.
Would you cut out another one of, well,
I
we don't know that it works.
Yeah, I was saying, try it first.
Let's make sure it works.
Let's make sure it works. Move this guy out of the way. If it works, then yes, I will.
Cat Swift, if it is to be muslin, why are you stitching together so nicely? You have to open it back up as a pattern. My real life is fabric-based teaching, selling.
Well, so this one was our muslin.
Yes, that's our pattern. Then we traced it on one to see if it works. If it works, I'm going to use this one if it works, and we'll take our pattern piece that we made and we'll make paper patterns from that.
Excuse the ignorance, what is a serger machine?
A serger is the thing that makes a really finished professional seam. Like if you look on your t-shirts, in the inside on the bottom, that like layered, laddered looking stitch, that's from a serger or an overlock. It sews really fast, and it also has a little blade attached to it that trims off your excess as you go, so it leaves you a really clean, finished edge.
Is the serger also called overlocker?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the red one Heptaron?
Yes.
Cat Swift says, okay, I didn't see you switch them.
We was sneaky.
Justin says, yes, the gray one, it looks awesome. I love the design going up the forehead.
That was from our guest sculptor, Amber. She did a great job.
Mask looks great with the shiny. I want to wear that to Walmart. All hail Heptaron. Love the hair. 101 people are watching.
Hi, 101 people.
Do you still have the 3-eye oat mask?
Yes, I have not finished it yet in order to get rid of it. Okay, I don't like how that is sitting right now. Change some things.
Is Stinkle or Ford?
No, not yet.
Says, just imagine large EVA earthworms. Justin Moody says, those horns turned out fantastic.
Yeah, it did.
James Bennett says, how's your new mask? It looks cool with the horns. You should make Spider Goat, one with a whole bunch of eyes and twisted horns, says Spider Goat. Ezekiel says, Stacy, you know there is uneaten cookies back there.
My God.
Did cookies come?
I don't know nothing about no cookies. I haven't seen any cookies.
Ezekiel?
I've got no cookies.
Does the postman steal our Tim Tams?
Who do you like painting better? Heptaron or let's see.
Pectron or the other one.
Whichever one. Alan Hirsch says, so cool, I love it. Jets, so would say cookies.
Oh, I think this was so wrong, and that's why I'm having such problems.
What? I'm sober, you told me so.
Maybe you did. Let's see. One side, I believe you did so perfectly, exactly where I asked you to.
Did it get janky?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're janky.
My bad.
Define janky.
Define janky.
This
Ah, okay.
is where this gets sewn.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Take 2.
Less y'all thought I was doing good.
20 minutes later.
It's not gonna take me that long to frog it.
This is a very important skill.
Learning to accept when you screwed up.
No, no. I do that every day.
We're gonna seam rip. It's very exciting. Black on black.
Ezekiel says, damn it, Stacy.
I know.
No cookies
Well, Rob,
for you.
Rob's not here. I have to be the one who screws up.
You were doing very well.
It's doing so well. It was all going so well. But in fairness, I've sewn a lot today, and this is the first time I've had to use the seam ripper, so I'm calling it a win. I'm calling it a good day.
Is he
I'm
getting
like,
another
I was
set
like, why isn't this lining up? And this, I should have done a better pattern job.
Yeah, that's all me. Sorry, babes.
Is he getting another set of horns? I noticed the picture pulled up on the computer.
Oh, there's not this goat.
I'm actually working on 2 masks at once.
Bonus goat.
What kind of mask is that, Alan?
Which one? We're making a goat
It's
mask.
a good one.
Jamie Thaxton says, damn it, Rob.
I know. This is the part where when you're really good and you backstitch, that it makes you go, why was I so good and backstitched? Choices. Grown-ups making grown-up choices. That's all right. Not here.
Yeah.
Seam rippers, never a question of if, always a question of when.
It's true. It's an eventuality.
Ezekiel says, it's okay, Stacy, we still love you.
Oh, you're the only one.
Got to earn it.
Yep, that's true.
Stacy, that mask is staring at you behind you.
Harder to talk and seam rip than just to talk and sew.
Oh, boy, so.
Make it look effortless.
Well, thank you. My grandmother would be proud.
Know what I'd be doing if I was doing that?
Aw.
Grumbling about my glasses.
Ah.
Because that is when I would certainly need some glasses.
That's true.
Hi, not that what Stacy isn't doing is fascinating. I'm gonna make some goat ears.
Probably
Ezekiel
more.
says, don't injure yourself, Stacy. Silence is golden sometimes.
Did you know that I stabbed myself, for fun and profit?
If there's not her blood on it, I doubt she made it.
Where do you get monster clay from?
I buy my stuff from Biddy Mold Supply. Where are you located in the country? Because get it from the places closest to you because shipping.
Comes shipping. All right. Now we're in the right spot.
You're in
We're
that
in
secret?
Wyoming.
Wow, fast. You're in Wyoming? Oh, that means nothing is close to you. Then I probably ordered from Monster Makers in Ohio.
All right. You're in the correct spot now.
Is Biddy pretty good about having things in stock at the store?
Yes, they are. When it's possible to do that.
For the unnamed toothy-eared guy, since he doesn't have skin texture and he is fairly smooth, would you recommend dry brushing or washes before detail?
Well, both dry brushing and washes are just going to heighten the texture that's on it. So I would probably just go with the base color and then airbrush shading. You don't have a lot of skin texture to pick up that dry brush. So what you'll see a lot of is just brush marks.
Monster clay is oil-based, right?
Correct. It's actually wax-based.
Justin Ray says, I'm going to send a second pool to you.
That would be awesome, because that mask is a creepy, creepy sculpt.
Ezekiel says, ALEXA put markers on alien shopping list. I think that marker's correct. Cobweb says, Chad, Biddy is great. I just ordered a gallon of rigid foam and it went out the next day.
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
And if you say Alan Hop sent you, you get nothing. He may give you a hard time or charge you more.
You get a knowing grin. I sent Tony in there, and he told him that his wife had been watching your videos, and that's why he was there. He was like, I see. This is what you need.
Okay, I'm going to trace this other ear.
The worst part about sewing fur, being covered in fur.
Urban Molder. Hi, everyone. Alan, how long do I have to wait before I pour another mask after I have pulled one?
Your time is gonna depend upon, now you can pour right away. You don't have to wait at all. Now, if you get into 4 and 5, you're gonna see some issues develop. But you could pour one, I pour one a day, and then like day 5, I give it a rest. Yeah, I think, if I recall, you're in Australia, so you're probably a little bit of a drier climate. And that means that your molds will be ready to go faster than molds that are like Oregon. You got to give it more time. It has to get the water out of the mold before it wants to suck more water in. These are 4-horned demon goat ears. These are Yule goat ears. We has them.
Cobweb says 24 hours. Chad Smith says, asking about Biddy having their stock.
Hmm?
And you guys are going Monday. You're going to make a video. Chad says, so what you're saying is that you should stay in the car when you go. Ezekiel says, you should be sponsored. Someone said I should be a Tim Tam ambassador for the amount of Tim Tams I bring to America.
You should.
Justin says, some people claim you want the molded bone dry. And some say to mist the mold with water before pouring it, which is right.
Depends upon your climate. If you are in Oregon, where it's a very wet climate, then your mold already has water in it. So you don't need to mist it with water, and dry is only the same level of humidity that there is in the air, which they run around about 75% all the time. If you're in Arizona, then you should probably mist that sucker with some water because it is dry.
I have green, tiny mold spots forming on my last plaster mold. Would you know why?
Because it got moldy. It was just exposed to some mold spores, and they grew. It's no big deal. It's a plant. The whole black mold craze kind of has people freaked out about mold. Mold is no big deal. Scrape it off your cheese and have some cheese. But in the mask world, way better.
Yeah, it's always better when it's in the right spot.
Yeah. In the mask world, brush your mold with some vinegar. You know, get some vinegar in a spray bottle and mist it and brush it out. Like take a chip brush and cut it in half so you got some scrub power to it, but not enough to damage your mold, of course. And that will, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to be a nice go at.
Oh, did you want me to cut fur for your ears?
Sure, that'd be great. Hadn't thought about that, but yes.
Rodney says, I love Biddy. I bought a couple of times. They've had everything I needed.
Yeah, they normally do. He's pretty good about keeping stuff in stock.
Fergie says, I too have ordered from them. Good guy.
See how that lays? I have, remember that notch I cut out? Well, my ear is going to rest right here, and then I'll fill in around there. Have space for the ear over here. It fills in under here where I want it. I will cut 2 small pieces to go in this area, and then all this is going to be flocked, and I will do some longer hair here too, because they have a nice beard.
Do you want them to be enough to wrap around the sides a little bit?
Yeah, that's looking nice.
That would be a great lawnmower from Thundercats to say.
Yes, it could. You're absolutely right.
Alan, what is your opinion on RD 407 casting latex for masks? Are there different blends of RD 407? I found huge price differences.
RD 407 is one type of latex. It's one mix. I don't think it's the end all be all. Again, it depends on your climate. It depends on the use of the mask and how much stretch you want. I know people who make masks out of balloon rubber latex. They're awesome. How much stretch do you want? What are your chemical solids? You know, because that's going to make your latex a little stiffer. The latex I want for a mask isn't the same latex I want for like stilt feet. I want them to have some more stiffness to them. So it's a type of latex, and you have to find a company, buy a bucket, test the bucket, and see if you like it. I just got a 5-gallon bucket from Black Lagoon Supply Company. Their mask latex is thicker. It's just generally thicker than what I normally get from Big Mold Supply or even Monster Makers. So, or Fright Props. I mean, it's a creamier latex. That's good, except for molds like Heptaron, which have little tiny spiky teeth, because then that thick latex is going to go down in there. So for some things, it's going to build up a thickness quicker and faster. But do I want to keep several types of latex on hand and have to explain it to whoever's helping me every time? I probably don't. Yeah. All right, so this is going to get glued down. And that means I'm free to make a pattern out of my other piece.
My Wolfman mold ended up being waterlogged. It even had that kind of looked like bruises on the outside of the mold. It sat for 48 hours and it all went away and poured nicely.
Yep. Yeah, you over poured it. Or it was too humid out and it just didn't want to absorb any more. Because, you know, if there's, your mold might release bubbles into your mask. Well, and that doesn't look good.
Thanks for the advice. I really appreciate it. Says Herbert. KBFX says no. Brush latex is okay for masks.
Ear fur.
When you say brush latex, do you mean brushing latex into the mold? Yes. If you're talking about a formulation of latex called brush latex that I may not know about, then I don't know. I have experimented with carpet adhesive latex for mask making, and it's garbage. It was a big fail.
Stacy, watching you sew fur inspired me to repair the fur on a dead cat I made for a play.
Nice.
Skin and Bone says, have you ever made any props for Not Scary Farm in Buena Park?
Yes, I have.
Just finished making a machete for a client, and I couldn't get any of the Sintra plastic, so I ended up using an old white plastic trash can I had at my shop, says KPFX.
Cool.
I'll post the photos in the group.
Do we still have that red paper? Or are we patterning on something else now?
We're patterning on something else.
Anyway,
We have a lot of patterns in the shop that are on like canvas drop cloth. It's from the before times when I wasn't here. Now we do almost everything on a heavy duty, like a construction, it's not construction paper, but it's kind of like construction paper. Hey,
My preferred patterning material.
it's this stuff.
It's a nice thick cardboard.
Should be a heavy duty boy. There we go.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
the info on the RD407 and the Black Lagoon thicker latex. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Black Lagoon Supply Company is a creamy latex. Now, Alden, you can tell him that I sent you.
Now you need 2 more of these.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called X-board. For anybody who's
Yeah, that's like an underlayment cardboard type thing for under tile, I think.
Rodney asked, is that RAM board?
Yes, it's ram board.
Where's the best place to order LEDs like the ones you use for masks?
Lighthouse LEDs. Speaking of Oregon, I think they're in Oregon. Lighthouse LEDs. They're very nice people, and they have a great product. I get the pre-wired, super bright LEDs.
I can or can't tell Black Lagoon what you sent me.
You can tell them. Alden is one of their reps. Very nice guy. I used to work with him, or buy from him, talk to him, be friends with him when he worked for European Body Art, who makes the airbrush makeup that I like.
Since you're on the subject of latex, do you know what kind of latex that can be used to mold candles from?
You're going to want to get a thixotropic latex. Biddy has a type of latex called molding latex, which is wonderful for that. Builds up a thickness very fast. Has a lot of chemical solids.
Do you think I can fly with latex from the USA to Australia?
It's not hazmat, it's tree sap. Now the problem is, it's also a lot of it's synthetic tree sap, so it probably wouldn't even count. But don't tell them it's tree sap. I think you could.
I love EVA and it smells like cotton candy.
I worry a bit about pressure in a 5-gallon bucket on an airplane. And honestly, if you brought it in, you know, hate to say this, but bring in a pallet, because you know what it's going to cost you, I think. And then you would be the only supplier in Australia. And I know I can send folks your way. Bring in a shipping container or bring in a pallet. And you can find importers who do that kind of thing, who they want to fill a shipping container. So they're going to get, you 2 pallets, and and then they set it all up.
Robbie says, that's a great question, Ezekiel. I wonder if they let you check it. Most only let you have 50 pounds.
Well, it's a liquid, and they don't know enough to know what latex is or if it's safe or not. So they're gonna err on the side of caution, and they're gonna say no. That's call an airport and find out what their thoughts are, and make sure it happens.
How do you support a mask that is front heavy?
You add weight to the back. If a mask is heavy up front, you can add attach a strap or something and a tail and a weight to the back, or you can clip it to the belt. Run a line from the top of the head back and clip it to their belt, and then that front heavy mask will pop all the way up.
So this is a little janky.
Even it up by eye.
I was gonna say, do you want to err on the thicker side or the thinner side? Because one side of this is beefier than the other.
Medium.
Medium?
Split difference.
Okay.
Alexa, count down 5 minutes. While that's happening, I'm going to Dremel my ears.
Hey.
Did you do the small ears too, or just the big ones?
I just did the small ears.
Okay, these are the small.
Those are the small ears.
Stacy, I need a fabric that changes black to red, like mermaid fabric. Do you have any suggestions?
Like just a color shift, or are you looking for something that is like that, like the sequin fabric that's black on one side and red on the other? Because there's some good options, and there are a lot of places that are selling that
Sequin.
flip material, because it's pretty big right now. It's a pain in the butt to sew for sure, but
I want to make shirts out of that for haunted houses
yeah,
that are white and red,
yeah.
but matte sequins on the white. So it's like an actor wearing like a T-shirt, and then a werewolf can slash him, and the red slashes show.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm gonna put on my glasses. Would you tilt the camera down a little bit so they can see the table? Perfect. Just to keep the crud from, not because I need them to see, just to keep the crud
This
from
is
shooting
eye
in my
protection.
eye. And I'm rounding off these corners that were cut at a 90-degree angle.
Okay, he said scales. Yeah, just search like black and red reversible sequin fabric. You should be able to find some. They make it in just about every color. I'm not catching all the comments right now. We lost Shannon briefly, but Justin Rudy holds off on the rapid fire questions just for a bit so we can get her back, because I'm kind of back and forth in between here. There we go. Very good. Shannon's back. Give her a minute, guys.
Mermaid fabric? Is that what you're thinking of?
Shoot.
It's kind of evil mermaids at dark hour this year.
Probably.
I'm betting adding horns to your bear mask would make a pretty intimidating beast.
Yes.
Jerry Collins says hello. Okay, Justin, 5.2 mask making tips, or sayings that is a myth and not true. 5.2 mask making tips or sayings that is a myth and not true.
Okay. It's a myth that you can't store latex masks on styrofoam heads. It won't destroy them. I think that's what he meant. That's a myth. Another mask making myth. You can, under very careful conditions, make a latex mask in a silicone mold. I don't recommend it. It's not the easiest way to go, but it's possible. I have heard the myth that silicone masks are way overpriced. Make one. They're not. Silicone is just stupid expensive. I think it's a very fair price, especially for how good a lot of them look from companies like CFX and Immortal. Beautiful masks. Let's see. Another mask making myth. You have to be talented to do it. It's not true. It's a skill. You can learn it. Maybe your first couple might suck. Who cares? Make masks that suck, and then you'll make decent masks. Then you'll make good masks, and then you'll make great masks. I'm an example of that, because you can look on YouTube and you can look at masks I made 10 years ago, and they were okay. They're way better now. I think that was fine.
You are not allowed to make a moving latex jaw mask because someone might get upset.
I have also heard that one.
If you want to do additional work on a mask, can I put clay on a master mask before I do an environmental work?
Yes, it's best if you do it to one of your masks. Otherwise, you might be stealing part of someone else's sculpture, so be careful of that.
What would you be more scared of if it existed? A large flying reptile with bat wings, or a grounded walking fish with stingers and teeth?
The flying dragon. The dragon.
Flying reptile.
Definitely
Bat
more
wings.
afraid of the flying reptile. Yeah. The walking fish with stingers. Got you.
You reminded me of when I was a props master for theater trying to troubleshoot effects for plays. This is carrying on.
I can feel that.
Hammerhead Sculpt versus Heptaron. New winners as you can see in last night.
See, I think the Heptaron is much more of a thinker, and I think that would win the day.
Post the picture of the dead cat I made on Facebook today. I added beanbag beans to it in its place.
That's fun. That's a good feature.
Is there anything inside the goat mask to keep the snout in shape?
Engineering. Just engineering, in that when I sculpted it, I actually built in buttresses and I built in ridges like are in Maximilian armor in order for it to be stronger and hold its own shape. So in the sculpting, I did a little bit of engineering to make the shapes add strength, if that makes any sense.
Let's see, is there anything inside, oh, no.
Our goat's ready.
Yay.
Ding. Your goat is ready.
Lost to Zodiac Production says, Uncle Wolfie is so cool.
Hooray.
Okay, Cobwebs, get that invoice to us and we'll get you out of here probably on Friday. Can't wait to see this with fur.
Me either.
Carrying on, there's a Facebook page called Still Beast Live Creepers. It's actually a Facebook group because people watching this are not able to share things they've made and wanted to. So it's kind of a hub where people who are watching this can show things they created. Because you can't post it in chat on YouTube. But you can, if you're on Facebook, you can look for the Still Beast Live Creepers and join the group. Good night, Cobwebs.
Good night, Cobwebs.
You guys seeing the rapid fire questions are not working. Justin, I've seen two.
Christopher.
With all the roll stuff. It was far left. Okay, pretty happy with that. These guys I have to heat form, so I think it's going to be easiest if they're pretty thick. Put them in the foam oven.
Name one mask concept that you want or need to make that is not currently on your list.
A monster alligator snapping turtle.
Hey guys, I've made some dreads using felt wool. What glue would be good to glue them on the inside of a latex mask to look like a beard? I need the glue to be pretty strong. Thanks.
I would say contact cement. Make sure your latex mask is very clean. Make sure your mask is very clean, and then you can use contact cement in order to glue them together.
Spook Shack says that the goat is looking pretty good. Lisa says, Gamera.
Could be a Gamera. Gamera's a little husky.
Does contact cement hold up water?
Yes. It is not water-based, so it does not break down in water.
Says, brilliant, thanks. Can you thin contact cement with anything?
Xylene. Yes, you can. Xylene. Xylene. Perfect for thinning contact cement. I actually have a whole video on how to use contact cement. If you search me, search Alan Hops, and search contact cement. And I show you how to thin it with Xylene.
everybody. I just got home from work and there's a box from Sobeys. Yay!
Hooray!
Got there when it's supposed to. Good job. Ezekiel says, I got some xylene in Australia. Yay! Things are looking up. Rodney Pope says, just noticed some small chunks in my latex. Is that from leaving it in my garage? And should I strain those out before getting more masks with it?
Yes, it got too hot. My latex I brought into this room, which is air conditioned more than the other part of the shop, and it just stays cooler because it has insulation. So yes,
So you should strain it.
yes, I would strain it, and yes, it's from leaving it in your garage.
Well, we had a shop. You stored latex in the kitchen.
Yes, I would. I got permission from my wife to store the latex in the kitchen back when I lived at the old house because the shop had no air conditioning.
Brian Limbert's opening his promise. His box says, yay, promise. Mr. Moody, you seem to be on an animal mask making kick lately. Is that something Dark Hour is needing, or are you just making things that you personally want to do?
Well, in the very beginning when I made the bear and I made the sharks and stuff, all the sharks and the water creatures that I'm doing, those are animal masks. But I'm heavily inspired by nature. So, you know, to me that can be scarier than a lot of monsters. But all the water stuff, Dark Hour needed, so why not sharks? And then the bear, I want to make the bear from the prophecy. I'll get to one day, but today it's not that day. I have a mold, so it'll be easier when I get to. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
There are no timers set.
That's what I thought. Alexa, countdown, 4 minutes.
4 minutes, starting now.
So I haven't painted the teeth on this goat yet because I don't want the teeth painted when I flock the face. So I'm going to flock the face, and the last thing I do will be paint all these teeth in. No one wants hairy teeth. .com.
People are watching, you don't have to
102 minutes. Cool.
Justin says, I agree. I mean, most monsters made have at least some sort of animal or reptile inspiration.
Yeah.
Alan, what do you recommend? 3mm, 5mm, or 10mm LEDs for masks?
5mm.
I think Berserker from Teen Wolf, the series, would be an awesome album.
I'd have to look at that. I don't know that one. I did watch the Teen Wolf series, but I watched it. I watched the first season, and I think part of the second season, and then I just got too busy. But it's on my list to go back and watch. This is me not reminding or questioning Stacy about fur direction because I have the utmost confidence in her skills and judgment calls.
What do you think of the Teen Wolf werewolf stories?
I don't mind them. They were a little light, like they didn't go full wolf in the first season. But that's okay. I like the wolf werewolves from the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson and James Spader.
God,
That was a nice, clean, scary look. And I also like the wolves from The Howling. There's only one type of werewolf that I don't think is awesome, and those are the ones from Dog Soldiers. And I don't think it's a good design.
Yeah. I see the other day they may remake Pumpkinhead. If he is all CGI, I would be very disappointed.
I don't think Stan Winston would let that happen. I don't think that would happen.
Berserkers are in season 4.
Okay. One of my goals is to get back on the Teen Wolf train. That's a goal of mine.
Are you going live tomorrow, or are you watching TV?
Tomorrow I am going live because it's part of Goat Week.
Still good for you.
It's still Goat Week, and I wanna knock out some goats, man.
Go to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Jordan Diesel says hello.
Hello, Jordan. You like my sheep ghost video?
Alan, there's a rental supply warehouse in the city where I live. Would you know if they carry latex comparable to the thick latex from Black & Decker Supply?
They probably have a thick latex, yes.
Jordan did love you.
I thought you might, Jordan. I thought you might.
What led to your love of haunted house sculpting masks? What led to your love of haunts? The sculpting masks come from my love of craft and came from the movie The Thing.
Alexa, stop. For me, actually, I was a haunted house actor, and I needed masks that I could see out of and breathe out of. And though he holds a special place in my heart, a lot of the masks that you could not see and breathe out of were from Distortions at Edmonds. He really started the trend of sculpting the eyes in the mask, so the mask had painted eyes. Almost everything before that had the actor's eyes were the eyes, which means you could see better. And I don't have a lot of time here, so forgive me for not like showing you guys. I'm sticking these together while they are soft. And I'm holding them in place until they cool down a bit to make sure that the ear does what I want it to do. Because you better listen, ear fool.
Chad says this is the EVA Easy Pickup.
It is.
Rodney Pope says, would window screen be good enough to strain the latex down?
Absolutely, that'll even be kind of tight. It'll be a little bit, yeah.
Justin Rudy says, Tales from the Crypt is what got me into horror at a young age. As far as mask making, Alan is the one that changed me from thinking that's cool to I'm going to try to make that.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Do you have the fur? I have a fur blade. Doing a little bit of modification on this ear fur. See, I have the ears on now. Earios. I didn't want to mess with the ear being glued all over the back, so I'm doing that separate. I'm doing that now. I'm very excited about this mask. I think the next thing that I'm going to do is dress the horns with the ribbon and the bells.
It's tintinabulation with the bells.
Probably call it a night after we get the horns dressed.
Tintinabulation is the best word there is.
Yeah, one of those words of Pomeda.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of the Disney Channel movie Under Wraps?
No,
Is there a moment to be? Please take this.
I do not.
Justin says the hair really sets it off. Lisa says, I know I'm biased, but that is turning out to be one heck of a mask.
I am slowly falling in love with it.
Rodney, thank you. What's that for? $14.99 super chat. from Rodney.
Hey, thank you, Rodney.
Thanks, Rodney. Thank you very kindly, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Mr. Spidey says the horns look good.
Thank you, Mr. Spidey. Okay, so I've just put contact cement on the fur part of the ear, and now I'm going on to the ear part of the ear, which is a different part. So the ear shape, I know it might look to you guys like I just kind of plopped down and did it. And I did, but that's after looking at pictures of goat ears a lot yesterday and this afternoon. So I built it in my head once. Then I was able to just come here and do it when I had the chance. Anything I'm building, I've probably built it in my head a couple times, just so I know how it's going to turn out.
Ben Goodwolf says, hey, Alan, Ed Edmonds gives you props on his videos, rightfully so.
Ed Edmonds is the man, and a lot of us wouldn't be doing what we're doing or know how to do it if it wasn't for Ed Edmonds.
Everybody says 3 thumbs up for the Goat Max. Jordan Easel says, about 3 kids who accidentally wake friendly mummy. They must get him back to his coffin before he turns to dust.
That sounds awesome.
Adorable.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, we're coming along. I mean, this is a black goat happiness.
It's the polar opposite of the Lake of Banana Sadness.
That's right. So I have 2 types of ribbon that I'm going to do the horns with. I'm going to do it with one type. Which kind do you think? Just the thin red or the thicker red with gold trim on the sides? Which one?
Tell me.
I'm going to ask Lisa this because, well, her opinion matters.
And everybody can vote.
Lisa's good.
I think I'm looking at, boy, I couldn't decide. That's why I got them both. I'm not an indecisive fellow.
Open them up. See what kind of flex they've got.
I don't really expect a lot of flex.
Cody Reese says, gold trim, just a reset. Plain red. Kim BDI Brat says, thicker wood. Robert White says, red and gold. Misty Jezereski says, I like the gold trim, but Lisa says, thick.
Okay,
Carrying on, sparkly gold ribbon for the winter goat.
I'm bad at opening ribbon, turns out.
Yes, you are.
I didn't open this well. Alexa, count down 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Those ears are perfectly done. R Beauty says, plain red.
Our
Plain
beauty,
gold would look more festive.
you're too late.
It looks to me like one ear sits lower than the other, maybe.
No, that's pretty darn level. It's pretty level. One ear's kicked up a little higher, but it did that on purpose for character. They come out of the same spot of the skull.
Sisters, not twins.
Right, yes, ears are sisters, not twins. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get my goat ribbon on.
Here we go.
Here we go. What's the scenario?
So, eating? Jeffrey Freeman says, gold trim catches the eye with some sparkle. Good night, Jerry Collins. Good night, Jerry. would have been cool to add nicks to the ears like he was a tough goat.
Well, you won't see them with the hair on it. You just won't see the nicks on the ears. I had thought about that, but it's just going to be covered up by hair.
It says you're doing the shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
What you get? Caution ahead. Fat white man dancing.
Who was crazy enough to put the ribbon on the goat with them horns and teeth as a sequel?
Maybe he goes to a goat salon to get it styled that way.
Likes to feel pretty.
Yeah. Sculpts what?
You did the smash.
He did the smash, the skull. I think thicker with gold is a good choice, but then I'm like a pro, I like shiny things.
Yeah, I thought that would look nice.
Killer goats can still want to be festive, fancy goats.
Them fancy goats, yo.
You should,
Totes me goats.
Cameron's Steinblock, you should put shrimp on the tip of the horns. I think it's good, okay.
Shrimps.
Shrimp.
One day there's going to be shrimp week, and you'll all be sorry.
Sorry, already.
You're already sorry? I'm going middle of the road with my temperature power. We're at 310 degrees, and I'm waiting for the hot glue gun to heat up. While I'm waiting on that, I'm going to add the mastic to the horns.
Yeah, so you don't get too much more fur on there.
Yeah.
Well, this goat has a bell.
Yes.
So many bells.
It will have 8 bells going up the horns, hanging underneath.
Ezekiel says, yes, shrimp week, it's a prawn, damn it, says Ezekiel. Finn Goodwolf. Excuse me, we'd be selling this mask for $175.
No. I'll have to look. Because this mask should be a little bit more, because this has separate latex teeth, separate foam horns, separate foam ears, fur, and it's going to have several types of hair on it. So one just like this would be more. Now, a version of this goat, I think the cheapest this goat would go down to finish is probably $200. That's my guess. Without sitting and thinking. You all know how I love sitting and thinking. She's a dude.
Why have bells when you have 2 horns, says John C. They're just not. Carrie Beastie wants a big gold hoop in one ear. Carry On says, didn't realize. Alexa, stop. Hot glue came in other colors, that's neat.
Oh, and how?
It comes in colors, it comes in different types and strengths.
Comes in pints.
Hot glue is amazing. But people who don't like hot glue, they're using the wrong hot glue.
Well, this goes on a bell.
Yes. Again, I say.
Oh, sorry. Goats eat oats and does eat oats. Okay. We're singing. There you go, Edie. Stacy sang it for you.
Got her started.
Better than me reading it. Stacy sang it. Stacy's a singer. Way better than me reading it. Edie says, my grandson Colin was wondering if you've ever made a shrimp head's mask.
No, I have not. I have made shrimp gloves because there was a haunted house that had me do the hand, the cocktail hand from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
That's all made of shrimp. I did one of those.
This opened a whole new world for crafts, says Craig. Nico says, how does he sneak up on victims with the bells?
It's not that kind of.
He's a Yule goat, so they know he's coming.
No, Edie, that wasn't me. That was Stacy singing. Stacy's here sewing. I am reading the comments. Stacy, sing your song for you.
My grandmother taught me that song.
I started reading it. I never even finished,
I
but
immediately
she
recognized.
immediately began singing it. So you have Stacy to thank. Harvey says Beetlejuice hand.
Yes.
Did y'all see the quarantine Beetlejuice thing that this gal did with her dad, where they recreate that whole scene with just the two of them, playing
Yes.
all of the different parts?
I did see
was
that.
glorious.
So unless the mastic is on both the horn and the mask, it doesn't do any good. So you do have to make sure that you get it on both. Has to bridge that gap. Okay. We did it!
He says, thank you, Stacy, you did great. Michelle said, yes, Stacy.
Okay.
Zika says, some of these people doing viral videos have serious viral effects.
Quarantine, everybody's got time.
What are you trying to say, Ezekiel? Some people might have measured that to make sure that they had enough.
We got a thumbs down.
It's because I sang.
Yeah. I'm blaming Stacy on that one. Or they swung by and they thought the goat was extra Satan-y. And I'm like, no, that's Friday. Today's goat is not that Satan-y at all.
Man.
I guess it's a pretty pagan goat. You got me on that one.
2 ribbon bands or 1 for the horns. How festive is this angry goat? Do you have an answer for that?
No.
It's really festive, y'all.
I'm trying very hard to wrap this horn and make it look good.
And there we go. 2 more vowels.
Thank you. Okay. 1 Rappy Dappy.
Ah.
The Sono says you have asbestos needs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't burn much. Saw me touch that hot glue, huh? See, in this way, I can crisscross.
I guess it's crazy projects. Well, you know. I don't know what I say. They're simple, but not a whole lot next.
Trick is just keeping this tight. A mean man would say you'd lose a nickel.
Scandalous.
Okay, that horn is wrapped, yo. It is ribboned, and it is crisscrossed. Yeah.
That's roll festive.
The sad part is I have to match it on the other side.
Yeah. No, good luck and Godspeed.
I'm just putting a dab of glue where they crisscross underneath one. So that amount that I picked out was actually pretty close to the right amount.
Lisa says that's gorgeous.
I think it'll be better when it's done.
I have to find somewhere else to photograph him.
He will not fit in your box.
We're gonna need a bigger book.
Find a place to put him.
Yeah, here's the awesome thing. I make stuff like this goat, and my wife has to figure out how to ship it and how to photograph it.
Not have the sexy job. Edie says, please describe perpetrator man. Well, he had a good face, he's wearing a red and gold trimmed ribbon on his horns. We'll do that tonight, and I'll tell you. Paul Bennett says, add dreadlocks by the year.
I might do some of that actually.
Will you be painting it tonight?
No, it's 9:48. By the time I get the horns ribboned, and then I'm going to put bells on the horns, it'll be close to closing.
Our Beauty, I don't know how much he is to ship right now. Sometimes a custom order,
I know how much we charged, but I bet he's going to cost about $75 to ship.
sometimes a custom order changes, and I don't know what, how much it's going to take. Let's see, do the bells ring?
Yes.
Carry on. I have a small portrait box, very simple, that folds up, that allows me to, what the hurt?
I get it on. It hurts my tongue too.
Allows me to get some portrait shots for the website, but then there are some things that are made that are like this rule, this is way bigger. So I'm gonna probably have to improvise with some background and see what I'm gonna put. Ezekiel says shipping to Australia is cheaper to fly over and grab it.
Yes, you're not wrong.
He says, easy, get a box big enough for the mask itself and cut holes out for the horns to stick out. If you don't bother the post office, be thrilled.
I'm gonna say this box is extra safe.
Jesse Papa Bear, that's what makes your company work. Oh,
My wife is what makes my company work. You are not wrong.
He says I'm an awesome packer of weird things. I think when Alan goes to the post office, they're always interested in what it is he's shipping. Hello, Joseph Creations, and thank you, Jesse Hockenberry.
Yeah, they'll ask me, they're like, have you got a picture of it? I'll see a picture of it.
Brian Lippert says, thanks for the little trinkets, very glad at about the blood, that really makes it. That is Krampus, the white Krampus.
Oh, awesome.
Yay.
He says, I'm just trying to help. Sato, it's stalled at the moment, but I plan on doing something this week. Oh, is it asking about Sato's orchestra education? Ezekiel is talking.
I've had my arms above my head too long.
Oh no. All right. Deep breaths.
So my neck is so short and wide. If my arms are over my head, my shoulders press into my veins on my neck, and I lose oxygen flow. So I had a little lightheaded just then. I'm a hocus.
Ezekiel says, the lady at the supermarket where I buy 50 packets of Tim Tams is like, damn, dude, like eat an apple. Justin Rudy says, gotta get off. Looks awesome, Alan. I will get a hold of you when I'm shipping the bust. I will trim and foam fill it so it's ready to go when it gets there. Right.
Awesome,
Justin.
thank you so much.
All right, your big ears are fur ready, and your pattern is completed.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm covered in fur. I've been picking fur in my teeth for days.
Hey, you know it's working.
That's how you know it's working.
Finn Goodwolf says, Alan bloodied the snot out of that Krampus mask. It looks great.
Yeah, you gotta blow the snot out of it. All right, so I am happy with Der Goten. Yeah. But we gotta add bells. And I didn't get like the regular jingly bells. I got this type of bell, an aged brass.
Pretty.
And I'm gonna floral wire them on so they hang down in the back. And I'm gonna do 4 on each horn.
It certainly looks ready to rock in the new year. You're hanging from your arms for dear life. It sounds like you'd be in trouble.
I would black out.
And then you would fall, and that'd be bad.
Michelle says, that looks great. I love the creativity. Did you contact cement the ears already?
In place, yes. Now I'm putting the fur on the ears. This will tell me how much I need to patch in behind that horn. Okay, I'm liking that.
Is this one going to be flocked?
Yes, the face will be flocked.
Are you flocking tonight?
No,
How?
not.
Like the long tufts on the end of the ears.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now he looks a little weird because this is all bald, but he gets hair, he gets fur in here, so a fur piece will fall in this place, and he gets fur under here, and then he gets all this gets flocked. But I'm going to do a run of long hair first in order to lay over this. I think it'll look nicer. Christmas Overflow 2 drawer. It's over here.
101 people are watching. You've been on for 2 hours. He suggests a nose ring. Sana says I feel German just looking at him.
Feels what?
German, just looking at him.
Christmas overflow too.
They're looking great now.
Wow.
Now they were rough. Now they're awesome.
One, two, four, five, six, seven, 8. Okay, to hold on the bells, I have these wonderful things, which are, they're actually floral wire. So they're meant to hold together wreaths and they blend into the wreath. But I think these will look really nice going through the bell and then around the horn.
Are those EVA foam horns?
Yes, they are.
Looks good so far, can't wait to see the finished goat.
Me too.
Edie says you have a troll. Where's the troll, Edie?
That's the person who gave us a thumbs down.
So, this is going to be a very festive goat.
Yeah, well, he's a Christmas holiday creature. I have a Krampus mask that I own that I kind of did this with the horns and I did the bells, and I'm very happy with it.
That's Oliver, and the gray one's Dylan.
It's true, we haven't had a thumbs down in a while. Yeah, we do. We have a thumbs down, Edie. No. Krampus should ride him in a parade. Can you buy the floral wire like that at home?
You can buy it in packs like 20 or 30 from Hobby Lobby, and like Christmas is on sale all the time, up until Christmas, and then it gets expensive. So buy low, sell high.
It's okay, guys. It's just not.
It's not everybody's cup of tea.
It's not everybody's. It's okay. Focus on it. Wasn't me. It'd be awesome if you could get steam to come out of the nostrils like he was out in the snow, fake snow on the fur.
Just put it in when they're cold enough.
Lisa says thumbs down can be a mistake too. That's true. It has happened. Lisa, how's he looking so far? This is your boy. Got people chomping, trying to get him, holding him away from.
We get Yule Goat snipes
I've got people who are lusting for your Yule goat.
by the dollar.
I am holding them at bay. The bells are a great touch. Says Nick. Come on.
He seems like a good boy.
Lisa says, I absolutely love him. He's going to be a family tradition.
Aww.
We got a Yule goat.
He's gonna be the reasons your nieces and nephews don't come over anymore.
Hooray.
I'll take two.
You got $1. Wait, is that the price? Lisa says exactly. I moderate on a couple of channels. There's always a jerk out there who does a thumbs down. Must make you feel important, says Cat. Cat, I think you're right.
I'm just making monsters. That's all.
So each horn gets 4
Yes.
bells.
Even sounds great.
Yeah. he's gonna tinkle.
Sato says, some people just want to watch the world burn. You are correct. Might mistake the thumbs down as a fist bump, says Ezekiel. Hanging from his chin would be pretty cool. You could even put a bell on that too. 1980 says in Australia, the thumbs down is actually a thumbs up.
But does it spin the other direction?
It's not a subscribe.
Been putting some twist in it so that they have a little bit of separation so they're off of the horns a little bit. They make its own dramatic music.
A long braided hair goatee hanging from his chin would be cool. I don't know how the first part I cut off. Comment. Got you regularly Hanson. Long braided hair goatee from his chin would be cool.
Yes, and that'll probably happen.
So said those bells add so much.
So this is going to sound weird, but Feng Shui is a big deal. And what I have done is you have the color red and the color brass, and that is the element of fire. You have the black fur, and that's a cool element. So those two are contrasting. And then you have skin, hair, horn, and metal. So you have enough elements in there where it feels balanced. And sometimes you look at something and it's cool because it's unbalanced, and sometimes things are better because they are balanced. So, forgot where I was going with that. But it was going to be profound and you would have loved it. But I forgot.
Massage motor hidden in the horns would be fun when the mask is just displayed. Sato says, man, I need to learn some phone.
So what?
Phone.
I did classes on it. The classes I did on it were actually on doing it backwards for haunted houses to be scarier. The whole art of Feng Shui is to make you feel more comfortable in a space and make that space be more harmonious. So if you do it backwards, you make your guests uncomfortable and they don't feel harmony, which is kind of what we want. All right, I'm happy with that.
You haven't even got to the blocking.
Yeah.
So Yule goats don't have nose rings like they put on bulls and cattle.
No, they
Zika
don't.
says, I remember a class in Transworld mentioned reverse feng shui.
Yeah.
Pinshot says, have you ever made a gargoyle statue and is it on any of your videos?
Yes, I have, and no, it isn't.
Lisa says, what a cool way to skin. Looks great. Says Robert White.
So actually, my whole talk on anti-feng shui is on YouTube. I think it's called Set Design 1 and 2, but the whole class that I taught was recorded and put on YouTube. It's on my channel. So there you go. So it is 10 o'clock. I slid in under the wire here. It's 10:04. But I'm happy with the Yule Goat's progress. And not only did we get this done, but the ears for the 4-horned goat are done. they're not put on, but they're assembled. The fur is cut, the foam is cut. The fur for the three-eyed goat and the four-horned goat is already cut and done. So that's going to go on easy. That's something I don't have to do tomorrow. So tomorrow I should be able to knock out those horns pretty fast. And yeah, Goat City, yo. Yeah. All right. So guys, I'm going to say goodnight. Wife, you want to say goodnight?
Good night.
You want to say goodnight?
Good night.
So that's Stacy and the wife. And good night. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the super chat. That means a lot. I really do appreciate it. And go make stuff.